Let's start with Solasta, Crown of the Magister. While I'm making this video, the game is still in early access, but the full version of it will be released on May 27. Here you will have access to 7 classes up to the level cap of 10. You can play as Fighter, Rogue, Wizard, Cleric, Paladin, Ranger and Sorcerer. Sadly no Warlock, Druid, Monk, Bard, Barbarian or Vodka Bender, but developers have said that they may be added in the future DLCs. In Solasta, every hero expresses themselves in the adventure, making each action and dialogue choice a dynamic part of the story. You will create your heroes just as you would in a pen and paper game, choosing your race, class, personality, and will roll for your stats. And like in a pen and paper game, here dice is the god. Also, the game is not flat, it's multi-leveled, so keep in mind that being high gives you advantage over your puny enemies, just like in real life. Pillars of Eternity. Game came to life after an unbelievably successful Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign, which raised more than $4 million. Game's story takes place in Eora, where a strange and scary phenomenon known as the Hollowborn plagues the land. Hollowborn means someone who's born without a soul, and that is terrible, because if you have no soul, you can't sell it to the devil to get nice things, right? Previously only ginger people had no soul, and now it's a common thing in this world, so you and your party are here to help and fix everything. Also, if you like this game, keep in mind that Pillars of Eternity 2 is also released, and by choosing to play the first part, you are almost instantly doomed to play the second as well, because the game is great and also is a proud owner of very positive reviews on Steam. Divinity: Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition. Made by the same studio as Baldur's Gate 3, this is one of the best RPG games ever created. An impressive sequel for an already impressive game. Overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam can confirm that with ease. And people in the comment section are openly saying that this may be the best game they have ever played in general. But you know, you shouldn't trust people that easily. Once my friend said that potato salad with pineapple in it is the best salad, I deleted that friend from my life, but the phrase is still hard-locked in my brain. Also keep in mind that this is a serious game for adults. It has dark and gloomy world and sexual content, where you can have accidental sex with your mother-in-law or with a random skeleton.
That is a lie.
Yeah, I admit, although only about your mother-in-law, sex with skeletons is really available. Original Sin 2 will take about 200 hours of your boring life, and that is really amazing. Pathfinder Kingmaker. This game was born with the help of 18,000 Kickstarter backers, so it conquered the minds and hearts of the players way before its release. Hundreds of kingdoms have risen and fallen in these lands, and now it's time for you to make your mark by building your own barony or even a kingdom. You can also name it as you wish, so I have full trust in your ingenuity. Mine was named Cold Beristan, but I also considered Pussy Magnetistan, Marinated Herringrad, or even Vodkaburg, although you can't rename it later in the game, so think twice before committing. And I just found this floating on the internet. It seems that dude has broken the law, and I like it. Laws are for pussies, and for those who like to not end up in prison. I should also mention that players are complaining about loading screens. There are a lot of them, so if you are not a patient one or your PC is a potato, you should consider reading the comments before playing. Also, the second part of the game, called Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, will be released in June of 2021. It's almost there. This time 35,000 backers pledged more than $2 million, so the game will be even bigger and better than its predecessor. Well, we all hope that it will, but it may also suck. We'll see. Tyranny. Like Pillars of Eternity, it is created by the narrative masterminds at Obsidian Entertainment. Tyranny is a classic-styled RPG with an original story, shaped and molded by your actions. Game looks great, but that's understandable because it's quite new, and reviews on Steam are very positive as well. You have to scroll hard to find bad ones, as people say this game plays just as Baldur's Gate, so you probably won't be disappointed if you buy it. Although, keep in mind that Tyranny is more dialogue and not combat-oriented. Of course, you will kick ass from time to time, but the main thing will be reading and talking. Be sure that you like that kind of stuff. And one more thing, the player here is not a random villager who rises to power, but a powerful officer with considerable resources and authority. This is a more realistic approach, way different than usual.
Hey, peasant, you won't believe this, but you are the one and only you can save the kingdom. But my whole life I was just a simple cleaner of pig's dung. That's okay, we'll teach you everything. Can't you just take a really good warrior or a powerful mage instead? No, come with me. But I have no legs. That doesn't matter. And only one hand. Still, you are the one. And I am blind. That's okay, because you have this scar on your face in the shape of the horseshoe, and this scar is definitely the one from the prophecy. That's because when I was shitless drunk last year, I accidentally grabbed the horse on his ding-dong while trying to get up. That is a majestic story. We will sing songs about you.
So, no such nonsense here, although being a hero without any good reason is my guilty pleasure. I can't deny that. Wasteland 3. It's not a fantasy game, but I just felt that I have to sneak it in, because if you like Baldur's Gate, not only for the magic, but for complex story, interactions between characters, or even combat, then you will probably like Wasteland as well. You can also start with Wasteland 2, if you feel that you may miss something, but you can start with a third part, and you'll be just fine. Game includes environmental dangers, fluid action systems, vehicles, and also will support co-op mode, so you could play together with your mother-in-law, or just mother, or maybe let them both play and just go out for a beer. It's a beautiful weather outside. Well, probably. Maybe you're watching this while hiding in the basement because of the approaching hurricane or tornado, or maybe some nuclear plant exploded nearby. Then don't go outside. Drink everything where you are, and let's hope that when you crawl out, the real world will not look like a wasteland. Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition. This classic game has been updated with a 4K interface and a remastered soundtrack, so it was reborn again with a new, beautiful face, a thing most of us will never have. But don't let the pretty paint job fool you, this is still a story-rich tactical RPG with a massive world that will rock your socks off, although not as massive as your mama. World of Planescape Torment is filled with interesting creatures, devils, and other strange beings. Game features 5,000 pages of dialogues, so there is way less combat and a lot more exploring and reading. People who created it had a serious writing problem. Anyway, I even know several guys who prefer Planescape Torment over Baldur's Gate, and I can see why. But I also know a few dudes who like to drink vodka with Coca-Cola.
Blasphemy!
Tower of Time. This is a story-rich dungeon crawler with innovative real-time combat that lets you pause or slow time. And here you have to really turn your brain on if you want to succeed. I know, it may be hard and it may hurt a bit, and I mean it, every battle is specially designed to be a tactical puzzle, so it is a bit challenging or impossible, depends on your IQ, I guess. Also because of that, the game is really suitable for fans of the genre and not so friendly for new players. Tower of Time will burn about 50 hours of your spectacular lifetime as you enjoy handcrafted levels and interesting story. Here you will also find thousands of pieces of loot and equipment. The game is really entertaining and cuts all the crap other games include to artificially lengthen the game. That is great.
Zoria.
Last year I played the demo version, maybe you have seen my review, and now Zoria is one of the few things I still think about, aside from potato salad, boobs, and marinated herring, of course. To be exact, I'm waiting for a full release because I will definitely play it again. I had much fun, and I think that Zoria is a hidden gem. It's far from AAA quality, but it is really enjoyable, and if you don't believe me, you can try the demo yourself. It's free on Steam. Game feels like a mix of Warcraft 3 graphics and Dungeons & Dragons playstyle. If they manage to make the whole game with the same quality as they made the demo version, this will be a hit, no doubt. Full version will be released someday this year. Torment Tides of Numenera. Game is a modern isometric RPG released in 2016, and it takes a lot of elements from Planescape Torment. Although I have to say that while the game is inspired by the classic game, Tides of Numenera doesn't share the lore of Planescape Torment. Instead, it shares the composer Mark Morgan, a dude who created music not only for Planescape Torment, but also for Fallout 1 and 2. So in-game you will hear about 50 different music tracks made by him. In Tides of Numenera, most encounters can be settled with a bit of conversation conversation instead of fighting, so prepare for walls of text again. Game consists of 90% reading and 10% of everything else, and that is great because it is really fun to create and live your own book of adventures. That is, if you like books. If you like boobs instead of books, that's also okay. In fact, the latter is probably more fun thing to like. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time, bye.